Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 214 of On the Backs of Gods. I'm your DM, Jillian. We have our players here today, same as always. We have Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. Kyle's joining us in the chat today. So basically, I'll be running Fen, and whatever I decide to do is canon, and that's just how it works. Um, go ahead and give us a little recap, and then I think we can jump into things. Our heroes saved the world, hooray, had some downtime, hooray, and received an invite from a, for some of you, a pretty neutral party, and then for some of you, a very not neutral party, um, asking if you guys would just come over to have drinks and talk. And after about just an evening of thinking, you all literally catch the wind and fly yourselves over to Skull City. Um, yeah, the name is pretty on the nose. It is a city inside of a gigantic skull, the skull of Tyr, when he fell during the war. And now people have just made a little house inside of it where they like to live. This place seems to be very far forward technology wise, magic wise, compared to the rest of the continent. Um, it also seems that they don't have much of a problem with corruption anymore because of the kiln. And it seems that they are able to use the corruption power that the hot spot, which is the skull. So if if you're at the Valley of Odin, or you're at the Forest of Eden, these are areas where corruption might be very high. That was the case for the skull, and that seems to no longer be the case for the skull. Um, as the energy is being used and put into different utilities around the skull itself. You guys show up, you get some clothes, and you get some tattoos, and you guys get some food, and you have a good time. You go dancing, how fun, and go to the library, y'all's favorite pastime, just going to libraries over and over again. It's y'all's favorite place to be. Uh, but eventually the next day pop up, and it's time for this meeting with Sindri, the kiln. Um, so you guys put your big boy pants on or your normal pants on if it's not really that big of a deal to you personally, and you all make your way over, where you are greeted by Rose wearing Ave's crest and a cute little slip number. Um, you enter into the space where the kiln is, who does not seem to currently be armed or wearing armor, um, having a drink currently. Asked you guys to please go get yourself some drinks and to get yourselves a snack if you were so inclined, and to get comfortable. He then has a moment where he comforts Russ and tells Russ that somebody is here to talk to him and that he should probably go talk to them. And not super wanting to, but it doesn't seem like he was against it because he agrees pretty quickly, but leaves the room so that he can go talk to this person. Rose sets up at the bar. The barman is a man you do not recognize. He's honestly, at first glance, this dude looks like a dude, just like a bartender. That is the energy you get from him. He seems to be a pretty good bartender. He makes drinks quickly and efficiently. Um, Sindri seems to be sitting there pretty quietly, sort of nursing his drink, waiting for people to like get their drinks and get in their seats. And I just kind of want to know where people are sitting. So Sindri is in like a singular chair in like this sitting room where you could basically sit on a couch, on either side of him, facing him, the opposing chair, the bar. I just want to know where everyone's kind of sitting.
Roshan is at a at a couch, not not too close to Sindri, but leaning toward him.
I think Keld would find a spot pretty close to him. Like, I don't, if it's a couch or what have you, he'd be near.
would have gone right with Keld. Be
I think Nana's just finding a seat that's, within conversational distance that has a good view of Sindri's face.
Okay. Pretty hard to pick a spot in here that isn't, but you pick the most advantageous one. Fen continues his seat at the bar next to Rose. I'll go ahead and tell you, Fen, throughout this event, just so I don't have to keep saying it and bringing it up, so you can just put it in your brain. It's weird talking to like nobody, but I know you're there listening. During this, Rose is often stifling coughs and like clearing her throat and kind of shifts uncomfortably often. The rest of you get into your seats, and Sindri kind of sets his glass to the side. Currently, he's giving off a bit of just like a straightforward kind of nervous energy. That's currently where he is presenting.
Aren't we all?
All of you are sort of presenting in similar energies, at least in the same vein of energy. He sort of like motions to the man at the bar and sort of like gives him a little bit of a wave. There's money on the table in the kitchen. Thank you for your assistance today. And the man nods. He sets up like a couple containers like close to the bar so that like it's like these are the ones that you can grab if you're so inclined. But quickly cleans up his station and makes his way out of the room. I understand there is animosity between us. It'd be strange if there wasn't. We are in a bit of a curious situation in my mind. I feel as if we are entangled even if we wish not to be. I think we are all heading towards the same place. And I think that place is prosperity and safety for the people of the continent. And I would like us to come to a verbal truce of some kind or some form of understanding. And at this point, I won't speak further on that until we are more in balance, I think. I would like to open a dialogue. And if you have questions of me, I would like to answer them to the best of my ability. All you need to do is ask them.
Well, I know I have a few questions. However, our friend here has quite a list, as she's in a bit of a bad place right now regarding you in particular, and I'm sure you know why. I wasn't there for that occurrence, but she needs some answers about what happened on the mountain that day. Could we ask you some questions about that?
I assumed that would more than likely be the topic of interest, and I will do my best to answer. I will tell you there are things that I will not feel comfortable answering, but I will inform you if it is something I am not comfortable answering. But I'll give you a warning if we begin to dwell into that, I suppose.
Okay. Appreciated.
By all means.
Well, first, he'll pull out this little list he has. We're curious about the kiln, not exactly regarding the rest of the city, but what is the kiln to you? I guess. What does it mean to you?
This is a journalist question, is how it feels.
It does feel like a
Um,
journalist question.
I've been asked this question before, so I feel I have a trained answer, and I think I'm at a moment in my life where I'm not sure if I have the ability to differentiate, because I don't consider myself a liar. So when I am interviewed and asked about the kiln or my life, I'm normally very straightforward if it's not too personal. The kiln is my past and my future. It is my life. The kiln was created by my father and given to me to improve, which I believe I did. And the kiln is not just my future, I think it is everyone's. I think it is a power that can be harnessed across the continent and can save many lives, create many jobs, overall improvement across the board. The kiln is the future.
I think Roshan would follow up with a question after that and say, you say that it could reach the corners of this continent. Um, is there any reason it couldn't reach beyond?
I think it is possible that the kiln could be something to extend far beyond our current reaches if we were so inclined. Leaving the continent in and of itself is a complicated ask. And especially if we had to travel with such delicate technology and put that many lives in danger to travel with um, this sort of high tech specialized equipment. Um, do I think we could cover the continent? Yes. I believe that is something achievable. I have my reservations in regards to some pieces of that, but I think it is possible.
Makes sense to start with one continent.
I'm not even sure if other continents share the problem we do. We don't have a lot of communication outside of our borders. If it were something that was a problem elsewhere, I would not have much hesitation in sharing, especially if something is so far away and somebody wants to protect themselves in this way, then by all means.
And what problem, or how would you frame the problem that it is solving?
The problem is, I think, as it always has been, corruption. The kiln is an answer to corruption. It has proven itself to be quite efficient at the Skull and in the small portions of land on the continent we have tested in. Um, we are moving rather quickly and need to move rather quickly, so that we can do our best to keep people safe. Um, it is not as simple as just slapping up lamps across the continent. It's more than that, but um, I think it's something on the horizon, something in the near future achievable.
Speaking of
Uh,
things you've created, or
Mm.
I'm not sure if you created the arm that you gave Bosch.
Ah, what about it?
I know you mentioned to me something about why you gave it to him, but I think others here might want to hear why you sent the arm to Bosch.
The incident with the guard is a misplay and yet has given invaluable information that we can use to help better our current technologies and continue on that goal towards helping people. Do I think it was a fair trade in the end? No. Did I give him the arm thinking that he would do as he did with it? No. But a bit too late on that one, and that is my responsibility. And he cuts off, and you see he's looking past, and he's looking at Rose, who has sort of lifted a hand. I don't think that's fair. It was my choice to contact the guard. This was my project. These were my choices. So,
Is that true? May I
you're welcome.
insight that?
Is it true? Slams hand down on the desk.
Is that true? With my new advantage, la-di-da, doo-dee-doo. All right. Oh, 27.
Moment. Rebaggerty. Oh, and also, I'm just setting this on the table. I forgot to say this before. If anybody asks me for insight rolls, I am rolling no matter what. Doesn't matter if I am using it or what. I will be rolling, and then I will look up a stat, and then I will say something for every single time it is called. Also, insight is not exactly a lie detector. Is something I'm also putting on the table.
True.
She's
It would be
not
more like, does this seem like she is being genuine? Does it seem like she is jumping in for a different reason? What's the vibe is more, I guess, what I'm going for here.
You're not picking up on any nervousness on the topic. There might be a tinge of guilt that you're picking up on.
Which, given the topic, reasonable.
But she's not giving any signs that make her seem untrustworthy, but...
Okay.
But in the end, it is my choice to engage. I could have told you to scrap the project. In the end, it is my choice. So I will take that fault. I was presented the topic by Rose. And I, in that moment, deemed it worth the risk to try and figure out something to help a wider scope of people. And I still think we accomplished that.
I can understand that. Suppose I should ask more about this, what happened on the mountain. He's gonna glance to Nana.
She'll incline her head slightly.
So she wanted to know when Ave contacted you before the mountain or the valley, what did you discuss? If there's anything you recall.
I don't recall communicating with Ave before the mountain. How interesting.
Hmm. Did you have any intentions with Ave when you met on the mountain?
Could you clarify that for me?
He'll
My
look to Nana.
intentions.
Had you known of him? Had you heard of him? Had you any plans regarding him?
Yes, I had heard of him, and I had plans involving him. Did those plans happen exactly how I intended them to, how I imagined them? No. But I would say that what I wanted happened.
And what would that be?
My intent was to kill Ave. I didn't expect to do it on the mountain, but he was there, and my hands were a bit tied.
Hmm. Is that because of the oath?
Yes. He requested to see Gungnir. I produced it, and he took that opportunity to make an oath, which in my haste I agreed to. He made me swear that I would kill him where he stood, and that his compatriots would live. And I agreed.
So if he hadn't sworn upon Gungnir, would you have killed him regardless?
Yes, I would have. Would I have killed him in that moment? No.
Hmm.
I regret not being able to speak to him first.
Did you test Gungnir before that night?
Yes, I did. Um, there was a man in our party, and I struck him down with the spear.
Hmm. I'm not quite sure what this question's getting at, but she wants to ask, why did you behave as you did when you attacked Ave on the mountain? Maybe she can elaborate.
I would prefer an elaboration just so I can, I suppose, stay on topic.
Was it the sheer irony that drove you to laugh?
His face falls a little bit, and he kind of like glances at Rose and like runs his fingers over his golden ones. This seems, for me, embarrassing. To you, possibly an easy way out that I am presenting for myself. Um, I had been in the wilderness for quite some time, not exactly my area of expertise. Um, I was already struggling with that, the intent of getting the spear involved killing Ave, so that was something I already had in mind, a goal, a thing I wanted to accomplish. And then when I had the spear, and he glances to the mantle where the spear hangs, I do not think it is something mortal men can wield for extended periods of time. And I do believe I experienced a period of madness. Though, I will not lie to you, I was happy he was dead. But I think if I had been well, it would have been different, and I had no intent on pulling anyone else into this. If I was going to confront Ave, it would have been just me and him. That would have been my choice for our situation. But I was not given a choice for that. Once I stopped wielding the spear, I regained use of all of my mental faculties. So I attribute possibly some of my erratic behavior to the spear, but none of it was false. I was happy for what I had done in that moment. Uh, Tactless, but it was my goal.
May I ask, why did you want Ave dead? I think I've heard things, but I'd prefer to hear it from you.
Ave was dangerous. He was the power of a god in man's skin. He was ambitious to a fault, and he was dealing in dark magics. He was a ticking time bomb. He was an era of devastation on the horizon. I saw him as an end of days. And so I slew him. And the thing is, I think he would have done the same to me. But that doesn't seem to be the plan.
Thank you. Mm.
Is there anything else?
Some things on a lighter note. I don't know if this will be anything different, but what's your next big project after the kiln, or is it just a continuation of the kiln?
Oh, it's always been the kiln, and it will continue to be that. I wish to expand. I wish to help as many people as I can. I understand that there need be change to hopefully accomplish this goal. This is not something that I see happening tomorrow, but soon.
We've already seen hints, like the corruption lights.
They're more like storage, I suppose. They take corruption from the ground, and it is filtered and changed so that it can be used for different utilities, depending on what is needed at the time. Currently, it keeps Skull City running. It keeps, as it were, the lights on. It keeps the place warm. It keeps the people safe. That's That's the important bit. If I could just make energy exciting, great, helpful, but that doesn't fix the bigger issue, which is corruption. This is a way of using corruption as energy, and it is a resource that keeps renewing. Corruption does not stop, but it can be used and repurposed.
I suppose the timing isn't perfect after the weight of the conversation we just had, but I'd be fascinated by the specifics of, well, anything I can get my hands on. I I can't say that I would have anything to add to what you've been working on, but I'd certainly be interested to look at anything you're willing to share.
Uh, that is something we could certainly discuss if we decide to move forward in a way that is conducive to both of us. Um, there are some things, and I'll be honest with you, there are some things that I do not feel comfortable sharing with you, as I feel like even though we have the same goals, I think we have a different path. And until I feel that we are at least on a similar path, I do not feel comfortable showing you too many things, but that does not mean I am against showing you the kiln itself and things regarding it, but the fancy schematics of it all, I suppose.
I I wouldn't ask to be privy to such information, though I am interested.
Well, you'd have to, if you were interested in seeing the kiln, you would also have to be interested in seeing Dagwood, and I'm not sure who'd be interested in seeing Dagwood, as she is unpleasant. But that's not my choice to make, I think.
Well, I guess speaking of this shared direction, was there something more specific you wanted to discuss?
Of course. Um, I'll start by saying I am not expecting an answer while you sit on these cushions in front of me. And you could walk out now. You could have never shown up, and that would have been fine. This is, even with our current personal circumstances, I am looking to the continent and what I think is best for her. And I find you all incredibly competent. I've seen your work time and time again. You set your minds to a goal, you accomplish it. I have exactly one scavenger. And he kind of looks off in the direction where Russ had walked. And I believe that he needs time to work on his mental health, as that is something very important to me. And I think even if he sometimes struggles to see it, it is important to him to keep maintaining that. Um, I am a bit understaffed, as it were. Um, it's not like I could just go out to the people and say, who wants to do this? As I don't think there are many that are competent enough, trained enough to accomplish this. Do I think I could train people as I have in the past? Yes. Uh, but I have lost many of them. Uh, I am asking for assistance in ensuring the safety of the incontinent Um, I'm covered on the, I suppose to some people, the fun aspects of the lamps, the study, the execution. Um, I no longer have boots on the ground. Um, I know you have no care for me and no trust for me, but in the end, our goals align. I am asking if you would be so inclined to fill in for Russ as he would have done and prevent a delay in this project and the proverbial end of corruption. I do not expect an answer to this now. I cannot give you details on this project until I know for certain and feel confident on both ends, that we all feel confident in this. Um, there is a location I am worried about. Could be tampering. I'm not sure. I do not have the ability to leave the skull. I do not really want to send Russ, but I will if I have to. So I'd like you to take time to think over this prospect of working together to ensure the safety of the continent. And once you're done, once Russ is rested, he can acquire a new team and you need not worry about me again. Or, on the other side of this coin, you say, thank you for your time. And you stand up and you walk out, and I never see you again. And there will be no hard feelings on that either. So, you're welcome to stay. If you have more questions, I am welcome to answer them. I'm more than happy to. You are also free to go and do as you please.
I feel like Keld kind of perks up like with excitement, but then is hesitant.
Perks up, perks back down. Yeah. It seems he is implying he doesn't want an answer right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't want somebody to go yes and slam their hand on the table or no and slam their hand on the table. He's like, go figure that out.
Hmm.
If there's
Uh,
anything else, yes.
Yeah, Roshan pipes up and says, it is always good for a reminder of how much we care for at least the same people. I don't think that if we told Russ that we were going out to do his job, that he would let Nyx go alone. I
And
think
mm,
I think you would have to ask him.
that would be my intent, is that I would have a conversation with him and make sure that he takes the time that he rightfully needs. I understand that everyone in his employ survived, but in the end, I think I don't think this is something he gets over. Not anytime soon, at least. So I'd like to give him the tools to hopefully find a way to process and, as the master implies, get in connection with his key. He says it like there's quotes around it. This does not seem like his area of expertise. Um, while you consider this offer, if you do decide to take it, um, whatever compensation you're interested in, you are welcome to um, suggest, whether that is money or something else you had discussed wanting to see and learn more about the kiln. Whatever you decide in the end, if you decide in the end. Uh, whatever compensation you wish to receive for a job well done.
I think Roshan would not do the proverbial knee slap and instead politely stand up and cross over to him and reach out a hand to shake and say, I'm sorry we couldn't have met under circumstances that would have began us along the road to a strong friendship. But thank you for your politeness and for inviting us here today. And I'm sure you can expect to hear from us soon.
He stands to accept your handshake. I appreciate that. I know if we are blaming the living, the blame is currently on myself for our current situation. So hopefully that is something I can mend. And if not, you need not look at me again.
I know you don't want an answer right now. However, would it be possible for Nana to get her brother's crest back?
He raises an eyebrow. That's not my choice to make. It is not certainly something that I own, as it is not currently on my person. Rose, would you like to keep possession of that crest? I would, yes, thank you. As much as I would love to work with you, I will not be ripping it from her clothes. So I apologize for that.
I think Roshan would turn to leave and message Rose on the way out and say, I'll be dancing at Pink's if you need to talk.
So what'd you think about all that? Well, the kiln remains standing, as is polite when people are leaving, and will give nods as each of you leave, unless you offer a handshake, which he will accept and return. But he will watch as you see yourselves out. Rose will accompany you to the door.
When Nyx goes, I think she almost tries to give him a hug.
It's one of those things where like you go in for the handshake and he's like, oh wait, and like pulls his hand back and like his face softens a bit and he does like put like one arm kind of like around your shoulders and like gives you a quick hug.
Nana
Firm,
takes this
nice.
opportunity to just give him a bow and leave.
She just lines up perfectly behind Nyx, bows, walks out.
Yep.
Don't mind me.
And would give a quick thank you for taking care of him.
Don't have to thank me for that. It's my pleasure.
And we'll run off to catch up with everybody who's probably at the door.
Yeah. You all are picking your items back up, getting your things back into your possession, and Rose opens the door for you, gives you all a bow, and then closes the door. You are all now outside, back in I wouldn't call it the hustle and bustle of Skull City because this isn't exactly the hustliest, bustliest part of the city. But you're back outside, the sounds of the city. Meeting's over.
I'm going to the stable.
We'll
Get
meet
there
you back
safe.
at the place.
Nana takes the long spiraling walk down to the first level. It's quite a walk.
She's
So
gonna need that walk.
she walk. What's everyone else doing?
I'm gonna go to Pink's tonight.
You really enjoy that
I-
place, don't you?
I mean, it was fun.
It's good company.
Hmm.
And we just got a job offer where they said to name our salary, basically. So I'll ponder on the dance floor.
Before you go, Nix is gonna take all of the jewelry she put in the bag and put it into her bag. I'm gonna see if I can sell this.
Okay. Have fun.
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll meet back up at the hotel in the morning.
Do you want to come with Keld? I'm gonna sell this and then see how many tattoos I can get out of it.
So many. Yeah, I'll come along.
Great.
Roshan, what are you doing in the meantime? It's like afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. It's not open yet. I think
Let me in.
He got a pregame.
I'll sweep.
I think he'd reach out to Egil and just say, "Hope you're well. Sindri wants to give us a job. Russ's old job. Went better than expected."
Good. I'm glad it went well. Things are certainly happening here. But I would say leaning towards good as well.
I think Roshan, just when he says that, Roshan has like a sinking feeling in his gut, and he messages Egil back right away and says, "Are there any places underground like the skull?"
Strangely enough, corruption's not too big of an issue down here. It's present, but not as so. To answer vaguely.
Well, Roshan feels a little better about that, and then I think he'll take himself on a tour of like local chocolate shops.
Wow.
Try one truffle at 5 different places.
Perfect. You watch Fen like cartwheel away across the bridges until he disappears into the shadows.
He's making friends with urchins and setting up street networks of informants.
He's also going and buying a chocolate from every chocolate shop, but on
Yes,
the
he
other
is.
side of town.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing. It's canon.
You're telling me there's 10 chocolate shops in this town?
Holy shit.
There might be. You gotta find them all. Just real quick, Roshan, give me a perception check or a survival check.
Bad. 10 total for like either of them.
I mean, like, you're able to find some chocolate. Maybe not 10 chocolate shops, but you're able to find at least like 2. And you're like, one of them is like more of a sweet shop that has chocolate on something. So I will accept this. But you can always continue the search and see if there are some hidden gems.
Found the candy kitchen.
Y'all got
I'm gonna
candy?
Yeah, I'm gonna need to tell the city council they need to start putting out pamphlets with sweets maps, so that tourists know which shops to go to.
Well, Novel informed you that you should write the chief and tell him exactly what we need. So,
Yeah.
Nana, you make your way down to the stables. You brushing horse. What are we doing?
Yeah, I feel like that is kind of where she posts up for a while, meditating and trying to get to a place where she doesn't feel like throwing something across the room.
Okie dokie. Nix and Keld, you go on an adventure to try and sell just so much jewelry. There are people that like watch you go by, and like it's like the term mark. Um, at first glance, you seem like very easy targets for thievery. But you
They
see
can
that
certainly try.
you see that people like kind of decide not to go for it, and in the end, you think it might be based on Keld's size. That is kind of like the okay. This guy's really big. I don't know if that like leans into combat, but is it worth the risk currently? Unclear. If they knew it was like 50K worth of jewelry, maybe they would take that risk. But that's not something they would know casually. Uh, so you begin to make your way down. You're probably going to have to hit a plethora of pawn shops. Maybe there's more than chocolate shops. We'll find out. But I would like a persuasion check from you, Nix. I'll let Keld give you the help action,
That's so
so you can
kind.
have advantage and see how many monies you can get.
With my -1, guys. Let's see.
Let's go.
You've got my help.
Not wow, 18.
Mm.
Okay. I'd say you could probably get like a sweet, and this is generous, I think 10K. As these shops don't exactly have thousands upon thousands of dollars just like lying around. It's not like they just got gold ready to go for this big of purchase.
Mm.
But they're like, yeah, come back around after a few days. If any of this sells, and then they'll buy more. But you were also informed that you could go talk to the merchants outside of Skull City, as there's a lot of merchants outside who like set up shop for a day or so and then head out after restocking.
Well,
You going to the merchants?
Kyle, let's go. I have to see
You
how
guys,
many tattoos I can get in one day.
you
We're
guys
gonna need more
spiral
than
your
this
way
for
down.
tattoos.
I need more money.
10K is not much.
That's barely anything, says the people with so much money. But you make your way back outside, and are immediately so cold. It is so cold outside, and you are not dressed for winter. It's cold.
Nyx
But
freezes instantly.
oh, there she goes. Her hair's been just pretty damp this whole time, and now it is beginning to freeze again.
Ice again.
Oh dear.
But Nyx, go ahead and roll me persuasion with advantage and see what we get.
Again.
Oh.
The first die keeps being really bad, but the second one has been 18.
Go ahead and take another 10K. So you have 20 in total. A lot of people seem like suspicious as you pull out like a large amount of just like tangled up jewelry from your pocket. And you see that it's like seedier seeming uh, salesmen seem more interested in dealing with you. They're like, okay, as they're not pondering where all these jewels came from. They're like, all right, sure. So you have 20K. You're welcome to bring that up to the tattoo shop. You are warned at the jump when you start talking to the tattoo artist
Mhm.
that they're like, the more you put on your body, the more dangerous it can get. So it seems like the safe number is 2. And if you keep getting more, it could be possibly dangerous depending. Especially if you're not practiced in magic. They're like, if just some dude came in, he'd like explode, is how they phrase it. On 3, he'd explode.
Uh,
But if a stronger individual, somebody who's more in touch with their body or magic, may be more inclined to not explode.
Nyx is pretty in touch with her magic.
I use magic a lot.
Except when it's attacking her.
That wasn't my magic, actually.
Right.
Different magic.
Somebody else. What are you interested in?
Now I'm being limited.
Hey, listen, if
Boo!
you feel confident, I just have to make you sign something.
A death waiver.
She wants to put down the 20K and pick from this list.
Listen, the boss would get upset if I said no to you just putting 20K on the table. Like, I'll do it. I just, like, there will be paperwork. So we can't be responsible if you turn into fireworks, right?
I guess that makes sense.
I will say, don't, the more dangerous one is like making yourself, he's
Uh-huh.
changing like who you are physically, and he's implying the changing your ability scores. If you get 2 of those, like that magic's really powerful. So I'd stick to one unless you're feeling real confident on that one in particular.
I wasn't even considering multiple of 1.
Oh, I mean, usually the same type of magics. If you get the same things, they build up, but that one really does.
Okay.
That guy was so strong for like 10 minutes. It was really cool.
How many did he get?
Oh, he got like 6. He made it to 6 and then like lasted a solid 10 minutes. You know, confetti. And by confetti, I mean like is innards.
Huh. I'm going to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm going to do the pufferfish. Because
I love that one's a fave.
that one's fun. So that puts me at 3 out of the 20. We'll do. Why not? The ability one.
Okay. That one's like 10K.
Yeah, so that puts me at 13. Simpler ones,
them.
guys.
Yeah, none of them are helpful in the sense that one of them is 7,000.
No, so I gotta choose more than just 3.
I think once Nyx gets all of her tattoos, Killed might get one.
Ooh.
Which one are you getting?
I'm looking at the Mark of the Cheetah.
Okay, I won't get that one then.
We could both be fast.
Sure. I kind of got to put the tattoo on your legs if that's cool.
Makes
All
sense.
right.
So now it's only 1,500. Still have so much left.
Hey, listen, I'll work on my men's ankles here while you figure out, You set
Well,
up.
I do. Math is hard.
Hey, listen. That's why I'm letting you do it. Yeah, so you can decide, Keld, what your tattoo looks like, but it, in my mind, it is like the back of the calf ankle area
Cool.
where this tattoo is applied. But you can basically do anywhere on the lower leg or foot.
All right. Trying not to picture Jada.
If you listen, I can do spots. I can do anchors. I can do stars. I can do a spider web. Probably wouldn't work for this though, because spider webs are sticky, and then I might accidentally make the magic fucked up, and then you're all stuck instead of fast. I don't know how the magic works. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Well, we better keep it on the right theme.
Yeah. So, I could make some sweet like flames. I could just do some like swirly aesthetic designs. You know, doesn't have to be like a thing. Just has to be in the right place with the right amount of like magic and like gem dust and shit.
Yeah. You can use your creativity. Maybe some designs, some swirls or something.
Yeah. I can do that. Hey, we got somebody who's about to get a shit ton of tattoos. Oh, is that so? Let me come over and I'll help. And then this guy comes over. Um, Actually, we might need another guy. Oh, is that so? Give me a second. And he kind of cleans up his station. And he
Hey,
comes
what?
over too. And so,
Hey, Francis,
Nick's,
what you got?
Nick's, you're probably gonna have like 3 dudes that are like going to be tattooing you at the same time.
Nice.
So, Kel, you hand over 1,500, and you get Mark of the Cheetah, which as once per long rest as an action, you can activate the tattoo, and for an hour, your speed increases by 10 feet. Have you decided on your tattoos, Nix?
I feel like I can get more than 3.
Hey, listen, if you feel confident, then you could do it. I'll go get the paperwork. Thanks, man. No problem. And the guy goes and he gets the paperwork for you to sign.
I'm putting the healer
She's
one
tough.
down.
She can handle it.
Okay, you're doing the Mark of the Healer.
Yes, that puts me at 16.5. So I've got 2.5 left.
That one was also
2.5.
tempting.
The top 2, the eye ones are 2.5. Also, if you want to get special ink, they cost like more money.
Oh.
So if you wanted to get like the most expensive of the inks is the detection ink, which is 600. Mood ink is 150. Temporary ink is 10. The shiny glamour ink is 75, and the glow in the dark ink is also 75.
What was the detection one again?
That one is you pick a type of creature, and your tattoo like glows and alerts you when that type of creature is nearby.
No.
He said, "Don't worry, we get started on the Ealer one, and you can start thinking about it. And if you don't explode after like the 3rd one." And they begin working on your tattoos, and I'll give you a second because that's where we're gonna take our break. Thanks for being here. How about you go get a snack and a drink, and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 214 of On the Backs of Gods. Our party just took place in a bit of a conversation and got a lot of questions answered. The kiln seemed pretty straightforward about everything you asked and didn't say, I don't want to answer that to anything you presented. So you at least have that going for you. He offers up like a, hey, listen, we all want what's best for the continent, even if we aren't friends. So go ponder, open check, blank check, pick what you want for your compensation. And we can hopefully go from there and keep this project going. Everybody parts ways to go explore the city in their own special way. Um, what are people doing? Nix, you're going to be set up for a while. So yeah, enjoy, like it sucks. Nix, this sucks. Getting tattooed in multiple spots at the same time, awful. This is a bad time. Um,
Meditate.
they're kind of,
It'll be okay.
yeah, definitely. This is where you learn you have ki. Um, but anything else people want to accomplish? I know you guys have dancing plans, but we got time before dancing because we always have. While we're in Skull City, every night ends in dancing, boys.
I know Keld's gonna probably leave next to her tattoos, because that's gonna be forever. I'll probably go find Nana.
Nana's posted up in the stable for a good while, I would imagine. The chances are not slim. He would probably still find her there. She wouldn't be wandering very much further away from there anyhow, probably looking for shops to just look at for a while. Maybe like thinking about trying to find Rex at some point, but hasn't really like gone on a hunt yet.
All right, then Keld will head down that way.
Chances are good it's probably going to be the stable. Let me be real. She's probably grooming Thick Biscuit just in the stall that we've rented for the purpose at the inn. It's very like she does not take out her emotions on her horse. I must emphasize this. She is a good horse girl. She does not harm the horse if she's upset. But this is, she's very much putting... It is a very rote set of motions. Like, it is obvious this is, like, purely just what her body is doing while her brain is spinning 1 billion miles an hour elsewhere.
Had a feeling I'd find you here. You're starting to get predictable.
Well, when horses start making more sense than most people.
Fair. People are a lot more complicated.
Oh, by an awful lot. I don't even need to be able to talk to Thick Biscuit anymore to be able to tell you that much.
Do you guys talk?
Well, I mean, I talk to Thick Biscuit now. There was a while I don't know, I had the knack for the spell, and since the woods and the lurk, no.
I see. Just fizzled out.
I don't know. I traded everything I was to the lurk. Everything that I thought wasn't going to be good enough. Everything that I thought wasn't going to be strong enough. Everything I thought wasn't going to be capable enough. And the Lurk's end of the deal would be that I would be strong enough to be able to keep Nyx safe. So what I've got must be what I need.
It's proving to be a big trade.
I love you, sister. And I do not regret my decision. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't sitting on that card looking at that star on that piece of paper every night, wondering what sort of string of words would
It's okay if you do regret it.
I don't regret being able to be a protector. I don't regret making the hard decision to change what needed to be changed in order to be good enough. I don't regret that. I knew it was going to be hard. I didn't... Until my sight went black, trying to look my mother in the face. I didn't know how hard. So that was poor foresight on my part, but I won't piss and moan about it.
He's gonna give Nana a big hug.
I think she, really clings hard into that and presses her face into his chest.
You're allowed to piss and moan about it.
It doesn't change anything.
No.
Feels like I just do nothing but in my own head, and it doesn't seem like it's any good to put it out where it'll make everyone else miserable, so...
Well, I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot you can do with this strength you've gained. Maybe it'll help to focus on that.
I think that's all I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm... I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself going from here, Keld. I really don't. I'm not so petulant as to say I'm going to flip the table and say no to Sindri's offer. It is the height of hypocrisy to say I want to keep people safe and to save people pain and to send Russ off into all of this.
I agree.
And if Sindri can be taken at his word that he has no one but Russ or us to turn to, if he really has no other agents, then yes, it should be us doing it.
Did any of his answers give you anything you needed?
They gave me answers. That's about it.
Guess that's better than nothing.
Sure. Keld, you've got to understand, I wasn't really raised... I don't want you to think that every moment of every day in the East in the West is spent being precious about grievances. But when a wrong is done to a party where I come from, something is expected to be done. And that something is expected to be the responsibility of the next of kin. And I tried. And it was the biggest mistake of my life. So, here
Are
I
you
am making
referring
nice.
to? Are you referring to that night at the party?
Oh, yes. I'm not sorry that I threatened him with a duel. I'm not sorry that I asked him to duel to the death. I'm not. And I won't apologize for it.
I
I
believe
hate
that.
what happened.
I have to say, I don't think that's going to be the worst thing that's ever happened. Not to sound ominous, but I feel like far worse could have happened.
I made a fool of myself and my family name and my dead brother in front of all my friends, in front of my brother's killer, and in front of damn near every person of import in the East.
Most of who are we going to interact with? Why would you let that affect you so?
Where I was brought up, who I was brought up with to be, it mattered. Where you went, you were an example of where you came from. Who raised you. Where you go, how you behave, that reflects on everywhere you've been and the ones who had responsibility for you. I was raised daughter of a chief, sister of a chief.
Personally, I think you're putting a little bit too much weight on it. If you let things be so heavy like that, it's no wonder you're struggling to get around right now.
I can't believe you'd think I'd take this on purpose. Let it. Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
I'm not sure. It was important to me growing up that I was of just as much good to my village as Ave was. I couldn't be political like Ave. I couldn't be persuasive like Ave. I couldn't be a peacemaker like Ave. I could not bring villages together who had been at war for generations like Ave. But I could hunt decently. I could bring down corrupted creatures in the forest, and I could keep them contained, and I could burn them where they would be kept safely away from our livestock and our lands. I was good.
That sounds
at
like
that.
good work to me.
I was good at it. I was damn good at it. And then we went off on Ave's mission into the valley, and that was not enough. And I don't think, even up till now, I've ever been enough. I'm trying to get there. I'm doing what I can. But please believe me when I say I'm moving what I have to carry, because this is what I was given.
I just worry you don't need it all. But guess I'm not really the person to say that, so
Well, if I don't need it all, I don't know who I am.
well, that's for you to find. I still feel that way too. I know where I come from. I know who my parents are. And I know more now than I didn't realize I didn't. But I still feel a little lost. So I get it.
I don't. I don't have. You don't have to answer this. I don't know if you know, but what is the look for you, for Nyx?
That is a complicated one. I hate to say, I think we're still finding that out. However, I know it's different for me than Nyx.
Are you bound to her? Is it a contract? Is it a deal?
I did make a deal with her.
I figured that, but
And in a way, I am bound to her. Eventually.
well, for whatever length of time you'll let me, I would like to at least stand in defense of you staying well clear of her for the time being. At least for that amount of finality. We want you around for a while yet.
Don't worry, I'm not planning on going anywhere soon. Come on, let's go for a walk.
Yeah. All right. What happens if I use my wish to mess around with the consequences of my deal? I mean, the Lurk will find out, surely.
Surely, but from my understanding, that magic's probably stronger than her magic.
Stronger, strong enough to affect it, yeah, but not strong enough she wouldn't notice, is what I mean. I'm worried there will be consequences for you, for Nyx, and then what's the point of me having made the deal in the first place?
That's I guess, a valid worry. But just from what I know of her, I don't know that she'd necessarily be vindictive in that way. But it's hard to say for sure.
Both of you are the closest tied to her of the lot of us. So I'd be most presently and pressingly concerned for your sakes.
Hmm. Not something to think on, but personally, and I know Nick's probably say the same thing. Don't worry about it.
Why?
But you know how we are.
Why would you ask someone not to worry about that?
Because I feel like you've got enough to worry about. And it wouldn't be your fault. This is your wish to use. And you should do what you feel you need to do with it.
Lots of power to go into that. And the wording is the trick of it, as we've seen already. So it's not like I'll be very quick to make use of it anytime soon, but if I can find some way to insulate the both of you from any potential fallout, you'd best believe I'm going to find it and I'll use it.
Yeah, I believe you.
Come on, let's go see if we can find some sweets shops. I'd like to spoil Rex's girls absolutely rotten.
All right.
Okay. You two head off. Easy enough to find Rex. You probably set up a point to meet at, and you can drop as much gold as you would like to on Russ. I was about to say Russ's children, and then we were going to have a spiral about a different conversation.
Whoa.
Ah!
Which I'm not going to rule out. With this
no.
man's track record, it's possible.
It's possible.
But I think he would have told Nyx if he knew. He'd be
Yeah,
like, by
that-
the way, you should meet my son. Like, it'd be one
If
of
he
those
was
kind of
aware,
things.
I'm confident Russ would have made that very clear to Nyx. That 100% would have happened.
So if he has children, he does not know about them. So you go off to hang out with Rex and do that sort of shenanigans. Eventually, Nyx, you are free. Your body, it hurt.
Ow.
Anything else while the sun's out? Wow, no daytime activities.
I feel like it's mostly like buying Nyx things to make her feel better after her tattoo.
I think she would have gone right back to the apartment and been like, and I'm done moving.
Yeah, that makes sense. We just shove some sweets in her mouth.
Do they have
mm.
pools or like the hot spring situation, that sort of thing in Skull City?
Is there
Is
a
there a
pool
public
in,
pool?
Go ahead and roll a luck check.
Is there a spa?
I'd love for there to be a
Also-
spa in Skull City.
Did the tattoo
4.
artist say you should avoid going into a pool?
Yeah,
Or
what
just
were
a
my
healing
aftercare
magic?
instructions?
Yeah, all of you were
Yeah.
given like legitimate aftercare, like tattoo instructions. So no water, keep
Well,
it
it's
clean.
good
You
that
know,
I rolled a
put some
4.
lotion on it. Don't hang out in the sun. You know, the usual.
Okay, but what did they rephrase it to? I'm all constantly covered in water?
Right?
So, like, how does
Oh,
Yeah,
that
what
no.
happens if skin is always water?
They said good luck.
They imply that if that is the natural order of your skin, then that's probably okay, but like introducing a different type of water might be bad.
Oh,
They're like you can shower, but like try not to just put it under direct spray or like things like that.
mm.
Clean it gently, all of it.
all of them.
Yeah, it's rough. And the thing is, you have some on like the front and the back, so it's
Oh
like
yeah, it's gonna be bad.
where do you even
Oh
go?
no.
Oh
Um,
no.
You see, the plan is we wild shape for sleeping.
Makes sense.
There we
Mm.
go.
That's smart.
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
Eventually Russ will come back to his apartment, and he just sort of like flops down wherever you're flopped down and just sort of like lays there and stares at the ceiling.
Long day.
Yeah. And he looks at you. Long day?
Yeah, I can't. Every way I lay is bad right now.
What happened?
She'll show him all the tattoos. He, oh, you didn't see all the. I got a lot of jewelry from one of those cards that they drew, and I sold some of it to the people in the pawn shops in the city and out of the city, and then I spent it all.
Right? Hot?
I like them.
How did it go? I could hear bits and pieces, but I was supposed to be focusing on other things, so
Better than expected, I think. Did he talk to you?
he did.
So I'm gonna say yes to taking the job. I'm sure Keld's gonna say yes. I don't know about the other three.
I'm gonna say yes. Keld's over on
Held in the
couch.
other room.
That's two of us.
Right. And I will sit here and work on my breathing and yep.
And you could like give me tips every day through our sending stones of how to do the job right.
Mm,
Read those game instructions.
Learn how to play the games properly for us.
I won't. I will not.
Stop getting clowned on by two people much younger than you.
I shan't.
Hmm.
Well, honestly, I'm fine with whichever choice everyone makes. So,
It's up to them.
and if they didn't believe it, like, no pressure from Sindri. This isn't a gotcha moment. If people want to go, they can go. If people want to leave, they can leave.
We gotta make sure they know that, Keld. That they can leave if they want to.
We can remind them.
Hmm.
I did speak with Nana, so I don't think she's a no.
Well, if she's not a no, then Fenn's probably not a no. It'd look real silly if Roshan was the only one that walked away.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would be
think he
weird.
could handle it.
It's the peer pressure of it all. He's like, oh man, if maybe one other person had said no, I could have considered it. But the only one to say no.
You think he could look me in the eye and walk away? with everyone else standing there, he can't.
No, it is hard to picture. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't like that all of you have to go do this in my stead. That's not my favorite.
I'm honestly looking forward to it.
Oh, it's probably going to be rad as hell. Most of the jobs are pretty cool.
All right then.
It'll be good.
It's going to probably be awesome.
Do you think I should bring Goose with, or should he stay here with you?
You know what? I actually am truly unsure. I will leave that to you. I don't know if we've bonded, but also I don't know if we physically can. So, like, will he listen to me? No, but will he just put him? Will he stay where I put him? Oh, then
you
I
have
can
to-
probably handle that.
You have to do the tapping. She'll show him how to make Goose follow the tapping. This is what he can do.
Okay, so I tap on stuff and he moves towards it.
Yeah.
Our son is very bright.
It's a lot better than when I found him.
Well, that's good. And he stays on the stick pretty good. Maybe I can put him on the coat rack and he'll vibe.
We'll check what the job is first and see if it's safe for him.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, might not be, but also corrupted things, unless they catch on fire, they're usually pretty resilient.
I mean, I think he was on fire at one point.
Huh.
Like, if you look at his face.
Yeah, no, he looks bad. He looks like unwell, like sickly and unwell.
Jillian, can I get a setting clarification?
Maybe.
Is Russ's carpet white, or was it white before Goose started playing the tap game?
So at minimum, the floors probably had a lot of white marble involved and white light woods, and there's probably fancy white carpets, as that seems to just be Sindri's vibe. The maid's gonna have a struggle, and by that I mean she's probably gonna have to go buy a new rug. Everything this thing touches is gross.
And we're happy for him.
No, we're all proud of him.
Our messy son.
Right. Well, I suppose let me know when you have a group consensus, and somebody will probably message me or someone will message you. I really not having the message thing really puts me in a situation where I just have to sort of wait to be interacted with. I could just go up there and tell him. That's not an issue, but usually I wait for somebody to talk in my head and tell me something.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I'm not going out again. Cal, you can go out and ask them if you're going to party.
I might.
Yeah, if you all need to use my space to talk, just warn me ahead of time and I'll take a walk or something.
Thanks.
And they're all staying at that other inn. I can walk down there.
That's true. We could meet there.
Nick's just like, ow.
I don't know if we'll be able to get
ow,
Roshan
ow.
out of Pink's, but
And we can go now. It's not open yet, is it? He can't be in there yet.
Yeah,
he's
there's
in line.
probably at this point, Roshan's just kind of hovering around the perimeter. There's probably at this point, I would say there's probably at least an hour before it opens.
Yeah, maybe we can just get everyone together real quick.
Okay. I'm gonna be a spider on you while you gather
Hmm.
them. And then I can undo that once I'm there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Nyx is here.
Nyx is there.
Spider Nix, Spider Nix. It's the consent spider, everybody!
It's back.
Hooray.
To make sure everyone agrees to this meeting.
Yay!
Say it before the spider.
Kel, how about you give me a perception or a survival check?
Hmm. Ten. Guys, I'm lost.
It's a very big, very
Roll-
new city.
Roll me a luck check, because the thing is, if you can find Roshan first, you're in a situation where people can be gathered.
19?
Okay, that's very good. Roshan is the first one you find with a bag
Mm.
full of chocolates.
You knew he'd be by Pinks.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yep, you find Roshan first, which means if Roshan is interested in having this little chit chat, can send messages, probably messages to the rest of the group, depending. Can at least try with message first if he's lucky.
I think Roshan will tell Keld. I mean, I'm leaning on yes, but I also don't want to look desperate. Like, we already showed up too early and looked desperate that way. We can't just, like, before brunch tomorrow be like, yes, we'll take it. We'll do anything for you, senpai.
I see where you're coming from. Do you want to wait until tomorrow to discuss it? Do you need to dance on it?
I was planning on dancing on it, and I think everyone could use a night to process their feelings. Yeah, I think we should talk about it over brunch tomorrow. Maybe we can find a fancy restaurant and get a private table or something.
I like that idea.
Um,
Looks to spider.
The consent spider salutes.
I'll go see what's still open because it's still light out. I'm sure there's a fancy brunch spot still serving brunch till nighttime, so that the people who stay up all night at Pink's can.
What is
have
brunch in this
right before they
place?
go. Yeah.
If you have enough money, anything.
And Roshan will spend his remaining hour finding some place to make a reservation for brunch tomorrow.
Sure,
And
you're able to
then-
find a classy little spot and make reservations.
And then he will send Keld, and because I'm sure Keld will tell Nyx, and then both Nana and Fen get a sending. If I don't see you before then, we're getting brunch at this spot before, or we're getting brunch at 10 a.m. at this spot. Otherwise, I'll see you at the hotel. Or Pink's.
Nah.
You guys have seen this spot before. That is its name.
This
you-
spot.
Yes, you've seen this spot. It's a nice little fancy brunch spot. Pretty high up in the skull, so you have a very nice view of the drop. But you guys have a reservation tomorrow. And eventually, Pinks will open. Who's going and dancing?
I know for a fact Roshan's gonna be It's not usually Nana's scene for processing her feelings, so probably no.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't read that message fast enough. Fen buys himself a little mesh top and he's gonna go dancing too. Too late. So sad. He's just like, well, I got to learn to meld with the people. I've got to fit in. So he buys a little mesh crop top and he blends in. You don't even know he's there, Roshan. Nobody knows he's there. Just Fen and me. Um, what's your dream to happen here at Pink's? What are the events of the night for you while everybody else is either in physical, emotional, or casual pain, or just anywhere from like pain to like existing, casually vibing? What are you doing this evening, and what do you want to see happen?
Um, I don't think Roshan has any real wants. But other than like staying at Pink's till midnight dancing, he told his sister that that's where he would be just in case she wanted to show up and give him any more context or any more thoughts, but it was not something he expected out of her.
Hmm.
So otherwise I think he just dances the night away, and would come home earlier than last night.
Okay. Roll me a perception check with disadvantage for clubbing.
Um, that's a 14.
First off, we figure out that you definitely don't see Fen.
Yeah,
So
no.
now that is confirmed in canon. Is it because he wasn't there or because he was there? Who knows?
Fen
Um,
just melts into that mesh-topped crowd.
he puts on the mesh top. He's a different man.
He's just a tree among
Um,
the forest at that point.
mm, I would say approaching midnight, you get a glance of mood from across the room.
Oh yeah, Roshan would dance over and uh just with a flourish and a bow, say hello, darling.
Turns around. I'm gonna make a roll. And because you left an impression, I'm gonna roll with advantage. But also, how many people does Mood meet every day? So Mood is gonna. 'Cause Mood also doesn't want to be like, "Who are you?" Because that's also rude and not how hospitality works. So give me a second. Mood turns around and looks at you. Like a split second passes. Well, 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 are you looking for another dancer?
Every time there's a chance to dance with you, if I say no, put me to the guillotine. And Roshan will take her hand and spin her and uh, tell her we're in town by request of Sindri. How dramatic! Uh, he's
How
happy to
interesting.
see her here, and uh, he met Pink, and it, it's lovely to see her again.
Hmm. Interesting. So was that combat thing a whole a display? You all got in a bit of a tussle there at the party, so I'm just curious. Was it a setup?
Well, unfortunately, it was real, but we're mending bridges.
That is beautiful. You love to see it. Healing.
Of course.
I said healing and like there's just like a burst of light and like glitter confetti. There we go. Usually if I tell them if I say a word with like enthusiasm, they should like accentuate it. And I guess I didn't say it with enough enthusiasm.
Uh, Give it a go one more time. Say something really spectacular for the crowd. I've got you.
Hmm. Let's see. Like she's gonna take a moment and oh, the next drinks are on Roshan, and there is an explosion of glitter and confetti and lights. I assume you're good for
Uh,
it. If
yeah, I think there are like illusory spotlights that circle the crowd and land on her, and then when she says that and motions to Roshan, uh, this is with major image. The spotlights will follow her hand to him, and he will look shocked, bring his hands up to his face, but the sleeves of the mesh top just seem to be spilling with illusory gold pieces, and says, "I suppose."
uh, everyone cheers. Everyone's like, "Yay, free drinks! Woo! This guy's got money." Uh, um, it's also definitely interesting interacting with Mood and Pink, as it seems like just aesthetically and like energy in a way, it's like they do fit in these spaces, but like also they stand out very aggressively in the space. And maybe that's a choice, maybe it isn't, and they, doesn't mean they can't get into the club business, but they definitely stand out in a different way than the rest of the people in this space.
I think Roshan files that away after spending 2 nights here, dancing with them, but doesn't know what to think about it yet. So maybe has to process that with other people.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead and roll me persuasion just to see how well your interaction with Mood is going.
oh boy, 35.
It's going pretty damn good. Uh, um, like the bar is probably pretty high for Mood, but not that high. Especially not after already knowing you and having a good interaction prior, and that you stepped up to the table like a champ to buy around for the entire club. You are informed. Mood's like, we'll cover that. We do this on occasion where, you know, put eyes on people. So basically, it was a thing that put eyes on you.
Uh, Roshan will. How many bartenders are there?
There's probably four that are like at the bar that you can see.
Uh, Roshan will tip 40 gold pieces and will give 10 to each of them.
All right. Big spender. While you're hanging out with Mood, Mood lets something slip about just like I should get Pink a drink. Like it's been rough recently. Like let's slip that like Pink's going through something.
Um, I think Roshan would keep it light, uh, and say, "I'm so sorry to hear that. Is it something that I could drop by with a bouquet of flowers?"
Honestly, you could bring Pink gifts all day, and I think there would be some merit to it, even if it didn't solve the problem. And I will say, a bushel of daisies isn't going to deal with a bunch of hoodlums, but it does warm a woman's heart.
Hoodlums, huh? Does it have the same hoodlums that were here last night?
Uh, I can only assume, but they come by a bit too often and overstay their welcome, and I am certainly speaking out of turn.
I understand. Well, I'll be stopping by, and I'll be sure to let Pink know that you weren't speaking out of turn, and you were just making sure that all was well between friends.
Listen, if you're able to solve a problem, I don't know you well enough. I don't know if you're the problem-solving type. And this is a bit of a problem, I would say. But you solve a problem for Pink, city's your oyster.
I'd like to get as many people on my side in this city as I can, so thank you again for a marvelous evening, but I have a lot to think about before brunch tomorrow.
Mm,
So I must bid your beautiful establishment adieu, and Roshan will bow deeply and give her a kiss on the hand, and that flowery shit.
yeah, the whole rigmarole. Yeah, you go through all the steps that seem very weird in a club, but not weird to mood. And at midnight, you are able to head on your way. Um, is anybody else doing anything this fine evening before the honk shoes, as it were?
I think really Nana's just sort of going over everything that she heard over the course of the day and writing things out just on paper, just sorting through everything. Questions answered, questions unanswered, etc. Just trying to sort through all of it.
Okay.
I think Kild's going to send Thor, and I can't remember if this is the one that's limited to 25 words or not.
It is limited to 25
Okay.
words.
He'll try to explain his day in 25 words. And see
Okay.
what she's up to.
That sounds complicated. I'm currently losing money. Maggie's having a great fucking time. Unlucky, I guess. Hope it's all with you.
Here's hoping.
Come on inside. Thank you.
Come on in.
We let
Come
in
on
our son.
I think it makes sense that Gressa is not gambling as a cleric of prudence.
Yeah.
She's like, I do one at each table.
That's
And I
all.
see if one table is hot. And if it is hot, then maybe
I
per
will
chance.
ride the hot table, maybe.
And the second I lose a lot or win a lot, I am done.
Exactly.
Probably.
There you go.
Probably.
Probably. Depends on the night. Maybe.
Yeah, you know.
Well, if there's nothing else, you guys are welcome to get your long rest in.
During that long rest, I think after Roshan's done at the club, sweaty, sticky. It's not this hot outside usually. This is weird. I think he goes back to his hotel room and then summons the mansion and then goes back down into his little pool sanctuary
Mm-hmm.
and will cast silence and hope to feel the shadow.
Yeah, it's near immediate that you can feel the presence of the shadow.
And I think there are about 20 minutes of false starts as he tries to think of what he wants to say and eventually uh, gets going and lets his feelings spill, and he says, from the moment we met, I've been so wrapped up in grief for Ave, betrayed and left hoping that it would mean something. I love him and I want to strangle him in equal measure, but because of him, it feels like just a matter of time. But if he came back tomorrow, I'd be there in a heartbeat. How fucked up is that? But um, I've I've been unfair. You're clearly not him, and just because you carry some of his memories doesn't mean that you should also carry his burdens. So I'm I'm sorry you've had to carry that grief for the both of us. And I think I recognized a piece of him in you, and I've been too afraid to face it. But I'm glad you're not him. It's easier that way. So I'm sorry for trying to use you like a bandage on the Ave-shaped hole in my heart. And I think I think I'd like to start over. Um, I I want to think of you as something separate from Ave, and I, I hate the boring, just descriptive things that I've called you so far. You're so much more than those. And would you would you pick a new name um, so we could start over?
I think there's another 20 minutes of waiting. I don't think it's uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't seem like this entity is trying to avoid you or doesn't want to talk to you. It just sounds like it's also taking the time to find the words to say. I am and will always be content to be whatever it is you need. If you needed me to be a visage of Ave in those moments, if that has helped you in some way, I hope it has. And if you would like to start fresh and see me as something different, which we both know I am, I would. I would like that deeply, as I will carry that grief and those burdens. Because even if I am not him, I am a piece of what did that. So I will not turn away that responsibility if you place it upon me. But it is nice not to have it. It is nice to feel free of it, at least from your perspective. And then the question becomes, who am I? Who have I been? I have started as many and I have crumbled down to few. I have kept you strong as best I could. I have kept your company. I now keep these memories that are not mine, and some I do not believe are Ave's. I am a keeper. You can call me the keeper.
I think Roshan feels relieved at this. He lets a part of his heart break, a part that had been holding on to the chance that Ave might be back, but has reforged his heart into something new, into some love for a new thing, and finally lets himself, after months of being uptight, just lets himself cry and floats in the pool, and the pool feels like his own tears for
Mm.
a few hours, but eventually buttons it up and goes and writes in his journal before brunch.
Okay. Fen gets home at like 3 a.m. Had the best night of his life. Will tell nobody about this. Takes his mesh top, folds it up real small, puts it at the bottom of his bag, looks at Jenny. Jenny looks back at him. They know. Jenny also has like a little mashing top that he has to take off of her and fold up real small and push to the bottom of his bag. They
What
have to make sure
Jenny
all the
and
glitter
Fen
is
did,
cleaned off.
no
Nobody will
one will
ever
ever
know.
know.
Nobody knows that they were
Good
there.
luck getting all that glitter off, Jenny.
Jenny's like, we gotta focus up on this. People can't
The
know.
evidence will be there, but no one will know.
Yeah, easy enough. The glitter could have come from anywhere. But if nobody has anything else before getting a nice little rest before a fancy little brunch, you can guys can you can guys you can guys you can girls you can be anything you want to be, because that's where we're gonna stop.
You can non-binary guys if you like.
Hey,
You
hey,
can be neither
anything.
guys nor girls.
Yeah.
You want to be guys or girls or not guys or girls? Hey, what's up?
You could be
Welcome to
both
Pinks.
guys and girls for all I care. I don't know.
Welcome to Pinks, where we don't care. As long as you're here to dance
Mm.
and spend your money.
Mhm.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. If you want to stay in the loop with us, first off, you can head over to youtube.com/thedice cult to watch all past episodes of On the Backs of Gods and
You
see
should
how
do
we got here.
Mhm. There's
And
an
you can
awful
watch
lot
our-
here that you're taking in for the first time if you haven't caught up on all of that. That's a lot. It's okay though.
You can also catch up on one of our other shows, Gossamer Vale, which
Much
goes
earlier in the
live
run.
every other Thursdays. Which, well, by golly, this Thursday, Gossamer Vale.
Oh!
Our new little adventurers are off to deal with some bandits and are now currently in a warehouse about to have a conversation with maybe a bunch of bandits. Who knows? Maybe allies, maybe enemies. You don't know until you find out. So you can join us on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see what happens in this nightmare warehouse, where I'm sure
Mhm.
everything will go really good and everybody's going to have a good time.
This
If you
nightmare
want-
house, if you will.
This Nightmare, This Night Warehouse. If
There it
you
is.
want dice that are pretty and roll and make story, as dice should,
Mhm.
you can go to the link in the chat or the box below to get some beautiful
Oh,
dice.
they are
If
very
you want to keep up
pretty.
with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram. And if you want to keep up with all of us, we are at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Blue Sky and Facebook. If you go over to the at Backs of Gods Instagram, you get to see a picture of Pink. So you can get to know
Ooh,
our club owner.
she
Um,
great.
Thank you all again. I appreciate it. I love telling you a story. We'll be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.